World attention is focusing on the US presidential election as the political atmosphere within America is getting increasingly intense as the election day approaches. With multiple states, especially the swing states, preparing for potential election violence and unrest, security forces across the capital are on high alert. 2 days ahead of the election, workers were seen putting up additional security measures outside the White House and the official residence of the Vice President. Secret Service agents guarded the building. This election cycle, some campaign speeches have contained violent rhetoric, and courts around the country have been inundated with pre-election litigations. More than 74 million people had already cast their ballots as of Saturday, which is nearly 47% the total number cast in 2020 presidential election. That includes 4 million voters in Georgia, or 80% of the total that voted there in 2020. In the battlegrounds of Arizona and North Carolina, roughly half of eligible voters have already shown up. And in 3 states, Connecticut, Delaware and South Carolina, early voting has surpassed 2020 levels. Now I've been joined by two of our correspondents, Shubhendu Ghosh, who is joining us from Washington, D.C., and also Amritpal Singh, who is joining us from Florida to give us the details of what's happening in the United States ahead of the presidential polls. Hello, both of you gentlemen. First to you, Shubhendu. How's the atmosphere in the capital as far as the elections are concerned, and what's the mood among candidates?
Hello, Siddharth. We're coming to you from the seat of power in the United States. Just behind me, I'm not sure if it's very visible, but is the U.S. House of Congress. Opposite to that is the White House, very close to where the power centers of the United States is. You're asking us about how's the mood and climate here. Well, it's very, very quiet at the moment, as usually is in this area of Washington, D.C., where all the important offices and government buildings are located. But is this the lull before the storm is something we'll have to find out till the election day. Of course, as you mentioned, that tensions are quite palpable in the air. It has been a very, very polarized elections. One has to see the manner in which the candidates are going to accept their victory and defeat. Somebody is going to lose these elections, and what will be the outcome of that, what will be the outcome of their supporters is something that is keeping people and the administration also a bit nervous. In view of that, the preparation has been heightened, security has been heightened. A few weeks ago, there was a case of ballot burning nearby as well. We see National Guards have been activated. They are on alert to tackle any eventuality. We were looking around in the evening. We saw that a lot of fencing, a lot of restrictions of movement is also being made, especially near the White House. Important preparations there. And we'll have to see the manner in which the security arrangements are in focus on the polling day and as the results come out. Remember, Tuesday, once the elections get completed by 7 p.m. in the evening, the counting will start immediately and the trends will start coming in. And that's when it will be important for the authorities to make sure that security and stability is maintained.
All right. Stay with us, Shubhendu. Now I'll go across to Amritpal Singh, who is joining us from Florida. Hi, Amrit. Last day of campaigning, both candidates putting their energies on swing states. What are you getting for us?
That's right. As Shubhendu said, he comes from the seat of power, where the city which houses the U.S. president. I'm reporting from Mar-a-Lago at Palm Beach in Florida, where the man who's trying to unseat the lady in power at the moment lives. You can't see behind me because it's dark. It's almost 10 p.m. Here, but that's where Donald Trump lives in his beach house.
Okay.
The flamboyant man that he is, and today's campaigning that you saw in the swing states had that rhetoric that he has been pulling across all through the campaign. Verifying immigrants, saying that they are the ones who have taken the system, they've rigged the system, and that needs to be fixed. And he said that he'll fix it and fix it fast. Accused Kamala Harris and the Democrats of bringing the issue of the economy where it is today. last day of campaigning saw
Yeah.
both candidates focus, Siddharth, on the swing states, because that is where the swing states will, by the end of the day, decide who sits in the Oval Office for the next 4 years.
Definitely, Amrit. You stay with us now. Shubhendu, could you please tell us about the voting process?
Right, Siddharth. So the big day is going to be November 5th, Tuesday, here in United States, the voting day. To put the facts ahead first, from 7 a.m. in the morning to 7 p.m. In the evening, the voting will continue. Now, remember that America is also spread through multiple time zones. So there is about a 3 hours difference between East Coast, just for example, where Washington is located, and the West Coast, where California is. So for the election to be completed throughout the continental America, we'll have to also take into account that time zone. If we talk about the voting process, early voting has been historic this time over. Most states, especially the swing states, have voted more than 50% in most cases in the early voting. Now, the big election day, the voting will take place. There are different formats in which voting happens. Here in America, although they had introduced electronic voting long ago, but there is a lot of interest and preference for hard copy paper ballot voting. About 25% of the voting is likely to happen through electronic voting. Now, there is a ballot paper. If I can tell you about the hard copy one, it's about 6 pages long, because remember, it is not just the next president that the people are voting for. There are also seats of Senate. There are seats of House of Representatives. There are a lot of local elections also happening to fill the local bodies. So there are multiple candidates that the voters have to vote for, along with, of course, the big choice of the next president. So they have to make that choice by 7 p.m. Voting is expected to be concluded. Thereafter, the trends will start coming in. Now, if the contest is as close as we presume it's going to be, then it might take days before we finally know who has come out on top, who is going to be the next president. However, if, unlike what the opinion polls have been saying, if one candidate has a clear edge over the other, it is possible that we may have the name of the winner sooner than we think.
All right. And Shubhendu, Nevada, North Carolina and Wisconsin shows Harris with marginal leads, whereas Trump just ahead in Arizona, as per New York Times, a Siena College poll. What can we make out of this? Where is the wind blowing?
Well, really the key word, Siddharth, in what you're saying is the word marginal. And marginal vote here, we'll have to see what comes out in the final opinion of the people when they vote in these elections on November 5th. Remember, different opinion polls had given different kind of edge to both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris in the run-up to the polls. And in fact, these polls giving a different kind of positions for the candidates have only emphasized how close this contest is, especially where the swing states, as Amrit was talking about. That's where the real contest is. And there, a difference of 100 votes, also in the past it has happened, a difference of 100 votes could bring one candidate on top of other. And because it is not a popular vote that determines who the winner of the presidential election is going to be, it's the electoral vote. So even if you win a state by one vote, all the electoral votes are going to be transferred to you, giving you a huge edge. So therefore, this close contest is something now we'll have to watch out for. I think there's always a time when we take a break from opinion polls. We should now look at the main elections and what comes out of it.
Definitely. Now, Amrit, can you just tell us when can we expect the election results? Shubhendu told us a bit about it.
Shubhendu was saying it depends upon how close the contest is. Now, what happens is that this election is conducted. There is no federal authority like the Election Commission of India that you have in India. There are counties which have state boards, and every state has a different law. There are some states have enacted new laws. Some states are sticking to old laws to speed up. In some cases, it's slowing down the counting process. So it really depends upon what sort of, how close the contest is. Second, how fast, how quick these counties count their votes. Some states which traditionally vote, what happens here is that some states vote red. They vote for Republicans traditionally. The others vote for Democrats. They're called the blue states. Now, what television channel networks start doing here is when about 20% of the vote is counted, and if it seems going a particular way, especially in the non-swing states or the non-battleground states, they start calling in those states. So you would have, once the voting stops at 7 p.m. Their particular time zones, they will, in about 2 to 3 hours, they start calling the state. What they wait for really is the swing state, because there is where they wait and see who is leading, because things can change. It is counted county by county. That, and if it goes into litigation, as already has in the early voting and the mail-in voting, it could take longer. So the result could be out by the next morning, or it could take days, Siddharth.
All right, gentlemen, Amritpal Singh and Shubhendu Ghosh, let me tell you, our viewers are getting to know many things by the wonderful reports that are being sent by you. We'll keep taking updates from you. I'm sure that excitement is palpable there. It's in the air. It's just a day left for the presidential polls. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining in.